Bonsoir tout le monde,
Good
bienvenue à
evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Municipal Council of June the 27th. Without any further delay, let's proceed with our opening words. Dear colleagues, let's have the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, the wisdom to know the difference. So, item number one, call to order, confirmation of the quorum. Obviously, everyone is here. Statement of conflict of interest. Is there any conflict of interest to be declared to be submitted? No. So that being said, adoption of the agenda. A motion that we adopt. Mrs. Boudreau move, seconded by Monsieur Lateng on the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. And we have carried the agenda as presented. Item number 7, presentations, inquiries, and petition. 7.1, inquiries by the council members to our sergeant who's here. Unless he had a promotion, the way things are going, we never know. Monsieur Forta is with us. Welcome with us tonight. And 1 second, I don't have any announcement to make today. Uh, you can go to the website. There's a few information that is published every week. If there's any questions about that, I can try to answer them. Fine. No major statement to be made. That being said, any council members would have any questions for the Kodiak RCMP? I don't see anything. As always, we thank you for being here. And obviously, if you decide to stay, it's as you wish, but we will understand if you want to leave because you're quite busy also. Thank you. See you in 2 weeks' time. No, no, we're done in July. Next meeting. Questions by members of the public. Is there any? Did we receive any questions from the public? Yes, sir. Good evening. If you will identify, I live on Bereshwa Street. Something bothers me for many years. And recently, the drop has overturned the barrel. There's no service in French in convenience stores, in a restaurant, in when my ex-wife and I bought a house in 2004, it was to live in French or consume in French. And recently, it's awful, especially people who come from southeast of Asia. No service in French. And I tell them when I go to the co-op in Dieppe, I expect service in both official languages, but they can't respect me. And to be polite with me, to offer me the service in French or the language of my choice. And furthermore, the words that they tell me in English, well, sir, you speak English very well. Why do you need a service in French? You are able to express yourself in English. Why do you seek service in French? I say my constitutional right, and furthermore, always ask service in French to what is said in English. Eventually, will assimilate itself. The reason why I come here today is to know if the municipal council, the city, can do something to have more service in French. And furthermore, your worship, you publicize information of quality of life in French in Dieppe. Maybe you're right. You come out of your house, you want to go get a bottle of water. No service in French. Well, to answer your question, of course, when we talk about the private sector, we have no influence on what they do. We can promote as we have been doing for probably 25 years or more. To my knowledge, the city of Dieppe has always promoted French, but we can't force the owners. I tell the people essentially speak with your wallet. In other words, if you don't get service in French, leave. Speak with your wallet. Support the businesses that offer service in both official languages because we don't have any control uh, on that side. It's a problem that dates back to, it's not new. It goes back to a long time ago. And one of the things that we hear is they are unable to get bilingual people. Why? Because those who have the capacity of using both official languages, they find positions that are better paying jobs than what we find in small market and in some stores. So when we think of all the service, the position of service to the customer, all the markets involved in that sense, and big companies like TD, companies like the National Bank, all the big actors of the region, the sector of information or complaints. Generally, it's in both official languages. We don't have problems to have it with them, but they take out the capacity of French people who normally are French people. It's a big challenge. I agree. I'm not denying it. We are quite aware, but legally, there's nothing we can do. And what I've always committed or suggested is to speak with their wallet. Often, the small business, that's how they will understand. I'm afraid that eventually immigration will take us into immigration. If our demography goes down, less service in French. Eventually, maybe the police officer will be unilingual English in 2 years because they don't find francophones. Well, it may be the best example because that's part of their contractual agreement with us. But of course, there again, it's not the private; it's the public sector. But it's always easier. We understand. We hear it. We try to encourage as well as much as we can. We did it with the signs in French first. That's something we were able to legislate, and we did it. It was what the early 2000 when that was done. But there are things we control and some things we don't control. And talk with your wallet because they understand that. Your worship, if I may. Yes, the sector of immigration, the newcomers are one of the people who we have to deal with in the community. We have to work with the province and work with the Canadian government to identify clearly what are our criteria for our community. We have to work with the region. Cafe is in our area. We work with them. We work with Magma and the other two neighboring cities to make sure that our community are in both official languages. It's not always easy to work with Immigration Canada once people are in the Canada. But we have a person who will be standing in the sector of immigration for the city of Dieppe. We'll keep on promoting the language of French. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for raising it. If there's no one else from the public or any questions received, we will continue with adoption of the minutes. First of all, a regular meeting of June the 13th, 2022. Moved by Councillor DeWindo, seconded by Councillor Godet. On the question. No question. All those in favor say aye. Contrary minded say nay. Carried as presented. And we accept the minutes of June the 13th. That brings us to 10.1, administration. And the first item, travel expenses. Mr. Nelson, thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everyone. First file is the 80th anniversary of the raid of Dieppe in France. Every 5 years, the events, the city of Dieppe has a participation that partake in it. Last year, we had a participation that included 8 veterans and cadets from the Dieppe Army. This year, because of the uncertainty of the pandemic, ruined the plans, and the celebrities will be in Normandy in August. We thought it would be good to have people with them. You have in front of you a recommendation to cover the expense of Monsieur Arvada Rivière and Monsieur Camille Richard, who are representative veterans of Dieppe, for an amount estimated $8,000, the plane, the meals, and the lodging, and a few expenses once in France. So, with the support of the council, we will implement or make sure that these people will represent our ambassadors with us during the ceremonies in Normandy. That's our recommendation. Thank you for the reading of the Monsieur Brideau. Thank you, Worship. The council accepted the freighter travel estimated at $8,000 for Camille Richard and La Veteran Association of City of Dieppe during the celebration of 80th anniversary of the Dieppe raid in Normandy. And authorizing these expenses to be taken from 1-12-20 2145 general operating budget expenses Dieppe Mountain as a move. You, somebody, a second. Mr. Boutier, on the question. Any question, Mr. Thibodeau?
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Your worship,
Donc, au prix du budget de jumelage d'IAP 40, on n'avait aucune activité
you
prévue.
think from the
Donc,
Twinix
pour cette
Carol
année,
Floor?
aucune
No,
activité à ce
no
moment-là.
activities planned this year. Okay, fine. Other question? If not, all those in favor say aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.1.2, acceptance of the annual report of the City of Dieppe. We're happy to present the annual report for 2021 tonight. This report prepared pursuant to the local governance put forward the realization of the city during the last year. It contains also general information on the city of Dieppe, namely the population, the tax rate and use, as well as detailed information on the municipality and the type and cost of different services offered. We find a financial statement for the year 2021 adopted on April 25th last and confirms the good financial situation of the municipality. And I must say that we have accomplished a lot of things during the last year. First of all, the new municipal council came in on June of last year. We undertook the transportation pilot project, had the first edition of the Summer of the Park, received the Canadian Mountain Ville, invested $12 million to improve our infrastructure, adopt a new municipal plan and a new zoning bylaw, and undertake a website of public under the name of Dialogue Diet. Population increased by 10.8% compared to the last census, and our tax rate increased by 13.3%. Municipality has also received several awards at the Jean-Jacques Roy Excellence in Municipal Innovation for the Dwelling House and by the FCM and the Price 3rd of July
Beaucoup d'énergie a été
2016.
investie par
Much
les
energy was
organisations
invested by the Organization of the Green
locales.
and the local governance.
Merci
So
sincèrement
I
de
sincere
tout le
thank you
personnel
to
de la
the
Ville de
whole
Dieppe
staff
et
of the City of
du
Dieppe
Conseil
and the
municipal
support of
pour
Municipal
le travail
Council
continu.
for the
Et
continued
je vous
support.
invite
And in
aussi
closing,
à
I
voir
invite you
le
to
remaniement
look at the report for
qui est disponible
2021. It will be available in Dieppe.ca as of tomorrow.
Merci. Alors,
Thank you.
pour
So,
la lecture de la
for the reading
résolution,
of the resolution,
Madame Boudreau.
Mrs. Boudreau.
Merci, Monsieur le
Thank
maire.
you, Worship.
Que le Conseil
That council
décide
accept
du rapport
the
annuel 2021 de la
2021
Ville de
annual
Dieppe.
report of the city of Dieppe. I so move.
proposée par le
Moved
Conseil
by
et
Councilor
adoptée par
Boudreau, seconded by
cette
Councilor
question
Turgeon. What other question?
Aucune question. Alors,
No
sur ce
question.
rapport,
All those in
c'est la
favor.
voix,
I'm
Monsieur
sorry,
Leboutier.
Mrs. Leboudier.
Non, c'était
Is that a
vraiment
question?
pour
It's
réitérer.
to repeat.
Oh, quel beau rapport. Félicitations à
What
toute
good
l'équipe
report. Congratulations to the
de la Ville
whole
de Dieppe.
team
Dieppe, nous
from the
avons
city. We
beaucoup
can
de
say the city of
transparence.
Dieppe. We have quite a transparency with this report. Thank you to one and
Merci
all.
bien.
Thank you very much.
Rien d'autre. Alors,
No one
ceux qui sont en
else.
faveur de la
Those in
résolution,
favor,
qui est là par un oui.
say aye.
L'avis contraire, par un non.
Contrary minded,
Alors,
nay.
la résolution est adoptée telle que présentée.
Carried.
Item 10.1.3,
10.1.3
notification de publication
notification of various
réglementaires
directive
et disciplinaires.
adopted.
Monsieur Mélenchon.
Close
dans le
camera.
fond,
Yes,
plusieurs directives reçues à Ville de Dieppe.
different guidelines
La
received.
première,
The
c'est
first one
les
is
nominations au comité consultatif
nomination at the advisory
des
council for the seniors of the app
ressources humaines
adopted
du
on
CA.
June 13,
Autre
2022.
nomination aussi
Also
des
a
centres de ressources
nomination at
humaines
the
qui est
Center
adopté
of Arts and
en
Culture
juin
adopted on
2022.
June 13, 2022.
La prochaine nomination,
The
c'est
next nomination
lorsque le conseil a
make
adopté
reference when the council gave its support
l'organisation
to
du département de
reorganize the
Dieppe,
structure of the city
alors
of Dieppe,
que des divisions furent
while
mises en
some
place
division
afin
were implemented to
de
reflect the
avoir
need
une
and
capacité
also
de gérer
to have a
tous
capacity
les
of
dossiers de la
managing
municipalité
all the files
et
of
en
the
conclusion
municipality
d'intégrer les trois
and to
secteurs
integrate
importants
the
qui
three
sont
important
l'immigration,
sectors
l'environnement
immigration,
et le
environment,
public.
and public
Suite à cette
transportation.
réorganisation
Following
ici,
that
ça a permis
organization,
de
it
pourvoir
did
des
allow
postes qui se
to
comblent.
have positions that
Donc,
were
c'est un
filled
poste
since
que
January,
je
some
partage
positions that were
avec
filled,
vous.
and I
Donc,
shared
le
them with
poste
you.
de direction du
As to
secteur de
the
l'immigration,
sector of
la
immigration
personne qui
position,
a
the person
été nommée
who was appointed,
excusez-moi, j'ai juste échappé
sorry,
son titre,
I just,
et Madame Émilie Haché
Mrs. Emily Esche,
du poste du secteur
for the
ingénierie.
position of engineering
On parle
sector.
de Monsieur
We talk
Marc-André
Monsieur
Cormier.
Marc-André Cormier.
Direction du secteur de la ressources humaines. Ici, on parle de
Human
Ginette
resources, we talk
Barriot.
about Ginette Barrio.
Embauche du chef du service d'incendie. Ici, on parle de Monsieur
Fire
Marc
department,
Cormier.
Monsieur Marc Cormier.
Le poste du directeur
The
général des
position of
communications
assistant
et
executive director
communication
in the
Luc Richard.
community, Luc
Et
Richard.
le poste de directrice
And the
générale
position of
à la
assistant
division de
for the
l'information
division of
Angèle
sustainable
Spencer.
and urban
Spencer.
security, Angel
Poste de
Spencer.
directeur au service de
And
l'urbanisation et du
director for
développement,
the
Monsieur
urban
Alexandre
and
Gérard.
development,
Alors, je
Alexandre
confirme
Gerard.
ces nominations
So I
et
make public
félicitations
and
à ces personnes
congratulations to
pour
this
avoir eu une
person
promotion ou
for
avoir été
having a
intégré à
promotion,
l'équipe
for having been integrated to the team of the.
Merci. Alors,
Thank
pour
you
la ratification,
for
c'est
the
probablement
approval.
nécessaire pour le record.
Well, maybe for the
Les
record,
minutes de la
the
réunion
minutes to
de la
read
personne qui a
someone
fait la
that
résolution
could
officiellement avec la
make
liste
the
des
resolution
nominations
officially with the nine nomination, Mrs. Deboutier.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
The
Quelles
viewership
initiatives
that
le gouvernement
council
compte prendre
ratified the guideline
afin
adopted
que
during the
l'importance du
INCRA
sujet
council
social
concerning
et de l'inclusion
subject
qui constitue
adopting
une
the
initiative
app
Dieppe de
age-friendly advisory on June the
nomination
23rd,
du centre de
2022.
ressources de Dieppe
Two
approuve
immigration director on June
nomination de
13.
Ville
Nomination
service
of the engineering immigration sector approved on June 13.
nomination directeur
Nomination
adjoint
engineering sector
de
director
ressources humaines
adopted May the 9th, 2022.
5 nomination
5.
direction du
Adoption
secteur des ressources humaines
human resource director
6
on
embauche directeur
November 7th.
service
Hiring
d'incendie adopté de
fire
2021.
chief on
7
2021.
embauche
7.
assistant
Hiring
général adjoint 10 commissaire
assistant general on
décembre 2021.
December
8
13th.
embauche
8.
directrice générale
Hire
adjoint développement
general executive
commissaire
director
adopté
urban
le 5
safety on June the
2021.
13th. 21. I so
Merci.
move.
Alors, quelqu'un pour appuyer
Somebody to support.
Monsieur Ducret.
Sorry, I forget to.
Et aussi numéro 9,
Oh,
In
numéro
number
9.
9,
9 nominations, direction du secteur
nomination
urbanisme et développement.
Urban and Development adopted on June the 27th,
Bien, proposé par Councilman Ducret,
2022.
Councilman
Moved and
Fortin. Est-ce qu'il y a des
seconded
questions?
on the question.
Aucune question. Alors,
No
si je passe
question. All those
aux
in favor
conclusions,
say aye.
avis contraire.
Contrary minded
La
nay.
résolution est adoptée telle que présentée.
Carried as presented.
Un communiqué
Your
sera
worship,
est préparé et sera partagé
press
sur
release is prepared and will
Merci
be
beaucoup.
shared
Et
in the
merci beaucoup.
news.
OK. Merci bien.
Thank you.
Alors, au 10.2 maintenant,
10.2 now.
développement communautaire 10.2.1, signature
10.2
d'entente.
per
Monsieur Mélenchon.
On a reçu
agreement, signing of
l'invitation
agreement. We receive
d'une entreprise qui
a
a une
business
proposition d'un entente
that has a
pour développer
proposal
un pont
to develop
sur le
some
parcours de
bridge,
transport public en
giving
commun.
the public
Alors,
transportation.
l'entente a été
An
négociée
agreement was negotiated.
permet
It's in front of you to
l'installation
allow the
je
installation
me rappelle bien, une vingtaine de
of
places.
20
Alors, c'est sans frais.
uh,
Ça
places.
aussi,
It's free of
permet
charge. This
d'avoir de la
company
publicité.
sells
C'est comme ça qu'il
publicity.
récupère
That's how they
son investissement
take back
sans
their
frais. Et
investment
alors, on a
free of charge for the
eu le droit
municipality.
d'explorer
We
cette
thought
solution
wise
et
to take
d'accompagner
advantage and accommodate
l'entreprise
the
pour
people
le
who are
développement
waiting for the
ceux
bus
qui font de la
or
marche sur le
even
trottoir
those who
pour
walk on the
pouvoir
sidewalks to be able to
on
sit.
recommande de procéder
We
avec
recommend to
cette
proceed
entente.
with the signing of the agreement.
Merci
Thank
pour
you
la lecture de cette
for the reading
résolution.
of this
Présidente,
resolution, Mrs.
Turgeon-Roy.
Turgeon.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Worship.
Le conseil
That
approuve la nomination
council
de l'entreprise
appoint the
Ville
following person
Untitled
as a one
gérant
elected
l'aménagement
member
des
of
ponts et les arrêts de
the,
bus sur le territoire de
the
Dieppe.
stopping. I so move.
Councillère
Moved by Councillor
Turgeon-Roy. Est-ce qu'il y a
Turgeon,
des
by
avis sur la question?
Cadet on the question.
Question, Monsieur
On the
Lantin.
question, Monsieur Lanting.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you.
Est-ce qu'à un moment donné, on va avoir des redevances sur la
Well,
publicité?
we have
Puisqu'il y a un calcul qui a été fait pour dire
a calculation that was
quelle est la
made
valeur
to
des
say
ponts
what is the
et
balance and
qu'il y a une
then
certaine redevance sur la
a
publicité
certain
et les banques seraient payées, puis que là, la ville
the
aurait
bench
des
will be
redevances
paid and the city will receive
Est-ce que je peux comprendre que c'est ça?
some money.
Monsieur Richard.
Sure, sure.
Oui, l'entente en principe
Yeah,
était
the agreement in principle is for 10 years, and
donc
then after 10
l'opportunité
years,
de
the opportunity of going for
ce qui est
1 year.
en contrat actuellement.
That's what is in the contract right now. As for
Petits revenus qui vont
payback,
arriver,
there's
ça va
small revenues that will
changer
come in. We're not talking
chaque
about
année.
big
C'est
income,
pour
but
nous autres, c'est
there's
surtout
no cost for us, and that's where we save. So it's not necessarily
Je
with the
présume que ça a
revenues.
été fait
So as soon as the calculation was done,
Est-ce qu'il y a eu une comparaison avec d'autres
was there any
municipalités qui font la
comparison
même
with
chose?
other municipalities who do the same
Pour la
thing?
publicité, là.
There's
Et
a cost for publicity, but
donc, je suis juste curieux de savoir, est-ce que
I'm just
le
curious to
retour
know
d'investissement, dans le fond, avec ce que la redevance nous donnerait, est-ce que
the
c'est 10
return on
ans
the investment. Will it be 10 years?
on n'a pas fait de calcul à ce niveau-là parce
We
qu'il n'y
did
a
not make
aucun coût,
calculation because there's
aucun coût
no cost
d'investissement.
for municipalities.
C'est
What
des
we save,
c'est tous
in
les
fact,
dépenses
it's all
d'immeubles qu'on
the
pourrait nous assumer
development
avec les
expenses that
banques
it would
et
cost if we were to install the
les
bench and to maintain
tout
the
ça, ce sont des coûts que nous n'avons
maintenance, and
pas
that's
la
cost that is cost that we won't have, and the
si on
city
commence
will
d'investir
do
sur
some revenues, or not the city, but
nous,
the
on a
company.
des avantages
We have advantages
de faire publicité
by
gratuitement sur les
making
réseaux sociaux
free
que
publicity.
nous autres, c'est pas
With
possible.
them, there's always that
Mais
optic,
c'est surtout
but it's
un avantage
especially
s'il n'y a pas de
an advantage where we don't have any expenses to have an infrastructure. I understand that, but
si c'est un retour sur investissement, donc,
if it's a
est-ce
return
que
on the
après
investment
5 ans, c'est la
after
redevance?
5 years,
Moi, je
and we
comprends
have a
très bien.
10-year agreement, you
Ça m'a
understand?
empêché. Ça
I
coûte
work in
beaucoup
publicity, that's
d'argent.
why I know it costs
Ce que
a
la
lot of
redevance
money.
pourrait nous rapporter, dans le
What
fond,
publicity
c'est
could
10 ans pour
bring
payer
us
cet
if it
argent-là
takes
déjà.
10 years
C'est
to
juste
pay
pour
these
savoir.
benches. So I'd be
C'est dommage
curious.
qu'on n'ait pas le frais à payer
It's
tout de suite.
good that we don't have
Ça devrait
to
être
pay
5 ans.
for it. But should it be 5 years? I don't know.
Juste
I
pour
wonder if a calculation was done. It seems like a lot
nous
to
apporter
clarify the bench and not
c'est
ours.
quand même à eux autres qui définissent ça.
The
Donc, ce qu'ils font, c'est qu'ils nous prêtent l'infrastructure
the loan does the
et
infrastructure for 10
si
years. They're
l'entretien
there
est
to take
délaissé,
care of the maintenance,
on
vandalism,
n'a
or
aucunement
we have
bénéficié
nothing to benefit from the publicity. If the city wants to publicize on it to announce something, we have to pay. If we wanted to have space, probably there are places or times where they don't have confirmation they offer us, but that's not why we have a contract, especially to offer new tools. Okay, I'm just curious. It's a big investment for the city. We talk of 20 to 30 bench. Shimrasa, I would add that we will have a look at the publicity to make sure that they respect our language policy, French and English, and make sure that it's integrated in the agreement. Thank you, Mrs. Woodrow. Thank you.
Vraiment.
It answers a little bit my question.
Vraiment, j'aime l'idée
Really,
d'avoir des nouveaux bancs parce
I'd
que je
like
trouve
to
ça
have new benches, won't cost anything,
possiblement avoir des
and
revenus de
possibly
ça.
have revenue from
Je
it.
trouve
But
que c'est
what I
vraiment
don't like
publicitaire de
is the
plus
publicity part of it
comme les pollutions
that can
visuelles.
be seen as a
Puis
visual pollution.
je me demandais
And
comment est-ce
I
qu'on
was
peut
wondering,
encadrer
how
un petit
can
peu la
we
publicité qui va être là-dessus.
take the kind of publicity that's
Est-ce qu'il y
on
a du
it and
matériel
what kind of
pour les
material
bancs? Est-ce qu'il va y
will
avoir
be
quelqu'un pour faire
used,
anti-graffiti?
will be
Est-ce qu'on va aller
anti
louer des
graffiti, or
experts
it will attract the
aussi
people
là-dessus?
more
Est-ce que
to
ça va pas
draw on it,
donner
and
un meilleur choix?
visually it would be the best thing for the city, but
Offrir des bancs, c'est quand même
for benches
difficile
it's a must for the people,
surtout si on pense
and
à des
especially
personnes
if we
âgées.
think of our seniors
Mais
who
c'est ça,
use them.
je
But
tiens vraiment
my
à savoir
question is
comment
really,
nous, on va pouvoir
how
encadrer le
will
type
we be
de
able
publicité qui va se ramasser là-dessus.
on it?
Peut-être deux choses. Un, c'est qu'on a des politiques
Two
déjà en
things.
place par
We
rapport
have policies in places to decide the
l'autre aspect, c'est
commercial sign,
qu'on a quand même
and we
stipulé
have
autoriser où les bons
we will authorize where the benches will
vont
be
spécialement
installed. The
engagés
benches
dans des
will
affaires
only be installed in
centrales
main
qu'on appelle
artery
des banques
commercial.
stratégiques,
We won't see these benches
centrales.
on Central Street.
Et donc, c'est que ça va surtout se
So we can
concentrer
think
sur
it will
les
be
affaires
found on Paul or
on
Champlain
va dans les affaires
and in Boulevard
touristiques,
Dieppe, where there's a lot more
quand même
circulation, but we have the
concentré
last word
sur des
to
tourniquets.
decide
Et
where
donc,
the
dans les
benches
cités
will
industrielles,
be installed.
ça fait assez sujet de publicité, mais il y a quand
What,
même des
what
travaux
can be used or not in
il
publicity
y a certaines
in the
règles
agreement,
comme ça, eux autres, ils suivent
there's
ça.
certain things that guideline they'll have to follow because they do it in other municipalities, and for us there's a requirement. Question of francophonie and attitude. These are two means with the installation and what will be on it. That's it. Thank you, Monsieur Thibodeau.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Worship.
Ma première question
My
vient
first
à
question
quelque
was
chose que
just
M.
answered,
Boudreau.
the same one as Mrs. Boudreau.
Est-ce qu'ils vont être
Second,
installés là où
will
il y
they
a
be
des autobus?
installed
Est-ce qu'il va y avoir
where
des
we
autobus à
have
l'intérieur des autobus?
shelter? Will they be inside the bus shelter?
En
Not
principe, ils
necessarily.
vont être installés
In
où il y a des
principle,
bus
they will
stations.
be where there
Mais
are
il
bus
faudrait
stops,
qu'on ajoute
but it
là-dessus
could
quelque
be
chose
that
pour
we
voir
add them,
où est-ce qu'on situe
add some elsewhere
piétonnière
where there is a
bénéficier
pedestrian
de la visibilité
walking, but there must be a visibility of the street or some circulation.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank
S'il n'y a
you.
personne d'autre,
No one else.
alors
So
ceux qui sont en faveur de la résolution,
those in favor say aye.
l'avis contraire,
Contrary-minded,
alors la
no.
résolution est adoptée telle que présentée.
Carried as presented.
Et ça nous amène au 10.2.2. Monsieur Melançon.
Alors ici, vous avez devant vous une recommandation pour
10.2.2
investir dans un terrain
recommendation to
vacant
invest
et peu utilisé. Alors,
that was
il va y avoir
vacant
le terrain de cricket.
to build a
On a
cricket
été
field.
approché il y a quelque temps par un groupe
We were
qui
approached a little
pratique
while
cette
back
euh,
with a group that
activité.
practices this
On a
activity.
vérifié ce dossier comme évaluation et on a
So
reçu une
we
évaluation assez
evaluated
positive. On
this
a un peu
idea
d'informations
and
pour
we
développer la
saw
discipline, cette activité.
one lot that we
Alors,
could
c'est pour
use
ça
for
que
this
je vous
activity. And
recommande de procéder
so now we
avec
recommend
une
to
somme de
proceed
80 000
with an amount of
pour
$80,000
aménager un terrain
to build a cricket field. This group isn't a league and they play during the weekends. They don't have any activities during the week. And there's a transfer necessary to get that money from reserve fund. So this is the recommendation. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Laudin. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized the administration to proceed with the development of a cricket field in accordance with the information in the memorandum dated June 8, 2022, at the estimated cost of $80,000 plus HST, and that council also authorized that this expenditure be defrayed from account number 1, 2, 70, 80, 3,000, general operating budget, sports fields. The council authorized a budget transfer in the amount of $83,500 from account number 7 4 20 12 89 10, General Operating Reserve Fund, to account number 1 2 70 80 3,000, General Operating Budget, Sports Fields. I so move. Moved by Councillor Latang, seconded by Councillor Rideau. For the question, Ms. Gunbu, thank you, Your Worship. I have a question for Mr. Richard. In January, you should have presented a draft for the leisure plan, and that was going to be a first draft, and we should have discussions. I have a difficulty with this recommendation tonight because with all these issues, I wanted to see what was the leisure plan, to see what choices we had. And now I'm looking at our goals for leisure infrastructure, and I see that the recommendation was consider the possibilities and develop places for leisure. So I look at this option, and we've had time, and perhaps I would have asked the question, what are the other uses possible for this field? Did we study them? I would have liked to make a better choice on what was proposed and what the other opportunities would have been before I say yes to this tonight. I see this option as an opportunity, and that's why you present it. I understand, but I would have preferred having the plan. But I want to better understand what this study represents, and what things we may not be able to do now that we're using this field for this.
Ben, en termes budgétaires, il n'y a pas
With
d'impact.
respect to the budget, there's no impact.
Projet de pickleball qui nous
I know we have a
c'est
pickleball.
sur le radar. On a eu des
We
discussions
have that on the radar, and we've talked about it recently, and we've had scenarios and recommendations.
avoir des budgets, ça, ce n'est pas,
It's
pas un défi.
preoccupying. We have the budget, so it's okay. With this field, I don't think
S'il n'y a aucun projet en ce moment pour ce
there was any project, any proposition for this field. This is for cricket.
là, c'est toujours une possibilité, mais dans l'analyse
Perhaps there would be another possibility, but right now it was one field that we could find in the municipality that we didn't have to buy or didn't have to do a lot of development on it. So that's why we chose it
de tel terrain-là pour ce projet-là en particulier.
for this project in particular. Thank you. What makes it difficult for me is that I didn't have the chance to see what other requests we would have had, and if there would have been anything else that we could consider. So my second question, do other municipalities or environments are building anything similar? Because in favor of this construction, it's revenues and interest from usage of this field. So any other cities considering this type of thing? And would there have an impact on the one that is in Dieppe? Well, they have a field in Riverview.
qui est tout près, je pense, du marais.
It's very close of the marsh and Trans Aqua, so it's not ideal. So there's a possibility that some teams from there might want to come and play on this field. But as far as I know, they have them in Fredericton, St. John's, Summerside, Halifax.
On est dans une région où il semble avoir un besoin pour ça.
So there seems to be a need for this. Thank you.
Quelqu'un d'autre, Monsieur le
Anyone else? Mr. Notting. Thank you, Your Worship.
Lorsque vous dites que ça n'a pas d'impact sur le
When you
budget,
say there's no impact on our budget,
je suis pas du tout contre ce projet-ci.
and I'm not against this project, it's a good one. But $80,000, you're telling us there's no impact on the budget respecting pickleball? Because pickleball people are going to say, well, you gave $80,000 over there, but there's nothing for us. But this $80,000 is taken out of their sports budget. So that could have been put toward the pickleball. So I'm trying to understand. You're saying that there's no effect on the budget for the other projects? How does that work? Everything is relative. This year, it was explained to the pickleball people that we would have a pickleball court in 2022. It's a little bit more complicated than this cricket field, and it costs a lot more. But we have an envelope in the budget of $1 million per year for parks and leisures. We have other projects on the table. We're not going to have $1 million for pickleball, but we're making decisions in the fall. So with this budget, we have priorities, and if it's the council's wish to table this field for any other options later, that's okay. It's up to council. We are presenting this file. We thought we could do it by the fall so that the people that play cricket would have a field. That's why we bring it up now. If we wait, it can slow things down. So I hope that answers your question on the budget. So this is not an $80,000 that could have been used. It could have been used, but it's not going to penalize. It's our interpretation. Thank you. No other questions? Those in favor of the resolution signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. One no recorded, and that is Councillor Goodboe. Thank you. Resolution carried by majority of council. Now, 10.3.1 engineering services. Mr. Alonso, here tonight, we're thinking of far ahead. We want to start the first steps toward the lengthening of Dieppe Boulevard. So we're looking at Bedford up to Dover Road, where global plan is to complete this road at some time in the next 10 years. It's in the radar. So we need to plan this project, and we recommend hiring EXP Services Inc. for $366,000 to do preliminary plans to do the aligning, and then to identify the lots and where Boulevard Dieppe will pass. So here we're at medium and long term. So tonight is to go into that direction. Thank you for the reading of the resolution. Councillor Thibodeau. Thank you, Your Worship. The Council authorized the XP Services Inc. to undertake engineering services for the Dieppe Boulevard Extension Project at the cost of $366,000 plus HST, and further authorizes the expenditure be defrayed from account number 3335587799. General capital budget, plans and specifications. That council authorize the following budget transfers to account number 3335587799. General capital budget, plans and specifications. $381,700 from account number 3335587664. General capital budget, roundabout traffic lights, and $381,700 from account number 7420128920. General capital reserve fund. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Thibodeau, seconded by Councillor Godet. For the question? No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. Now 10.4 appointments. 10.4.1 Animal Control Officer. The municipality signed an agreement with SPCA Moncton when a new employee is hired to work on the Dieppe territory. We have to give the power, so it's to give this person the authority by resolution. For the reading of the resolution, Mr. Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. The council appoint Katie Payne of the Greater Moncton SPCA as an animal control officer responsible for the enforcement of the city's current bylaw relating to dog control, and that said appointment continue as long as said person remains employed with the Greater Moncton SPCA or until the service agreement with said organization ends. I so move. Moved by Councillor Godet, seconded by Councillor Turgeon-Aroy. For the question? No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried as presented. Now 10.5.1, Mr. Belasson. So with our project for the Arthur G. Leblanc Center, we have a contract with Black & McDonald Limited for a purchase and installation of heat recovery system at $125,000. So we've had an RFP. We received one proposal. So we're buying these services with this company. And we'll go further for electricians to be able to complete this project financed by the federal and provincial governments. So we've received 40% rebate or grant for eco energy. Thank you. For the reading of this resolution, Councillor Boudreau. Thank you, Your Worship. The council award the contract for the purchase and installation of a heat recovery system for the Arthur G. Leblanc Center to the lowest bidder, Black and McDonald Limited, at the cost of $125,450 plus HST, pursuant to its proposal dated April 26, 2022, and authorize this expenditure be defrayed from account number 3330127607, General Capital Budget, AJL renovations. I so move. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Turgeon-Aroy. For the question, Mr. Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. This is for the purchase of the system. Mr. Bourque. Good evening.
J'ai mis Como aussi.
I have Rémi Como, who is online as well. He can add details. This is for ammoniac work for the refrigeration system. It has to be updated. It's an element in a $600,000 project. So we're asking for 125,000 for this part of it. Does that answer your question?
Ça parlait de. Ça disait que les travaux de plomberie, électricité et contrôle
It says plumbing, electricity will be added to this.
pour le travaux de système
So for the system,
ammoniac, 115 000.
for ammoniac, is 125,000. It was estimated at 115, and the contract is 125,000. We had an RFP for the whole project for about $600,000, and we received no proposal. So we went back to an RFP for refrigeration systems, and Black and McDonald sent a proposal. So we're going to do the same thing for each element. So Remy Cabo is responsible for the buildings, and he's looking at all the other parts of it. So perhaps we'll have to have an RFP for other elements. We're going to try to accelerate the process, but we'll come back to you possibly with another resolution soon.
C'est des estimés, ça, là.
These are estimates for plumbing, electricity. Yes, they're estimates received from our consultant that's on the project.
Ça pourrait être un projet en total, mais c'est fini à peu près 500 000.
So when it's all finished, it'll be at least $500,000? Yes, of course. Thank you.
Monsieur Lantin.
Mr. Lateg, thank you, Your Worship. At on page 229, it says that we're going to get a grant of 40%. 40% of what amount? I'm trying to calculate that. The 40% is of the $125,000 that year we are asking for today. We're going to receive 40% of this. Yeah, so this will cost $75,000, and we'll receive $50,000 in grants. So the total cost, so return on investment for this project, have you calculated the number of years it will take? Here I see $48,000 a year. Yes, in electricity and energy savings for Remy is online if you want to ask him, because the total of the project is 2.5 million. We have a lot of different parts of it, of this project. Or we could come back with an update for the whole project if you wish. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Godet. Thank you, Your Worship. So we're going to get 40% of the total of the project when it will be done. No, not necessarily. We have different parts. We receive funds from Energy NB and the FMC. Some are grants. So we already explained in the budget process last year. We're going to come back with an update to tell you exactly what the costs were for the whole project, because even next year we have a few other phases that we're going to do. So it's going to take us a few years. Other questions? Those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Carried as presented. 10.5.2 that everybody wants to talk about, of course. Asphalt. Yes, So since March, we authorized a contract with Dexter Construction Company for repairs, asphalt repairs, so that we call patching. So we're driving a lot better since we've covered up potholes, but there are more to plug up than anticipated. And then we did repairs on Champlain between Acadie and Halls Creek. So staff is asking to increase the amount of $80,000 to the initial contract for a total sum of $650,000 from the 2022 asphalt repairs budget. It's for our infrastructures, and especially it's good for the cars of our residents and visitors. So that's our recommendation for the reading of the resolution. Madame Turgeon. Thank you. The council authorized an addition to the work contract for the 2022 asphalt repairs project with Dexter Construction Company Limited at an estimated additional cost of $80,800 plus HST for a total amount of $650 plus HST, and further authorize this expenditure be defrayed from the general operating budget and the water and sewer operating budget accounts listed in the memorandum related to said project dated June 15, 2022. Thank you. Moved by Madame Turgeon, seconded by Councillor Brideau. Further question? No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary, 9 to May. Carried as presented. Municipal bylaws 11.1 bylaws C1 2022 relating to traffic and parking. Reading of summary. Mr. Lantaigne.
Donc, arrêté numéro C.
Bylaw number C1 2022, a bylaw relating to traffic and parking in the city of Dieppe. Pursuant to the authority vested in it by the Local Governance Act RSNB 2017, Chapter 18, and the Motor Vehicle Act RSNB 1973, Chapter M17, the Council of the Municipality of Dieppe duly assembled next as follows. Do I stop there? No, the paragraphs too.
Annexe de l'arrêté C1, C-1, 2022 demeurent inchangés par rapport à ceux énoncés dans l'arrêté C-1,
1 2022 adopted January 10th, 2022, following amendments prohibited parking. I so move. Thank you for the reading. A mover, Mr. Brideau. Any questions? No questions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Bylaw C1 2022 is accepted in summary reading. Now we'll go to third and last reading by title only. Councillor Lantaigne, if you have not lost your voice. No, it's good. By title, bylaw number C1 2022, a bylaw relating to traffic and parking in the city of Dieppe. I so move. By title only. Moved by title only for third and last reading. Seconded by Councillor Brideau. For the question, Councillor Goodbow, I'd like to clarify with staff. Were there any questions on the amendments of this bylaw since our last meeting? No. Thank you. No other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Bylaw C1 2022 is accepted in third and last reading. Now, 11.2 bylaws at 10 2021-4 to amend zoning bylaw on Keith Road. For the reading of the summary, Ms. Leboutier.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you. Your worship, bylaw number Z 10/2021 for to amend zoning bylaw on Keith Road for the laws of New Brunswick 2026, Chapter 19, the Municipal Council of Dieppe. Otherwise, what happened is this bylaw Z 10/2021 for is registered in the county of Westmoreland under number 411-731-2029 in April 2021. Annex A is entitled Zoning Bylaw of the City of Dieppe and mentioned. The amendment is indicated on the attached map. Thank you. Further question? Thank you, Your Worship. Were there any questions by the population since the last reading? No comments. Thank you. No other questions? All those in favor of the bylaw signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Bylaw number Z10 2021 4 is accepted. Summary reading, and we will proceed with third reading by title only. Mr. Lanting. Ms. Leboutier. Thank you, Your Worship. Bylaw number Z10 2021 for bylaw to amend the City of Dieppe zoning bylaw. I so move third reading. Moved by third reading by Councillor Leboutier, seconded by Councillor Gadet. For the question, any questions? No questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Z10 is accepted in third and final reading. Number 12, notice of motion, nothing. Item number 13, inquiries and announcement by members of council. We're starting with Mr. Godet. Thank you. I have nothing to add tonight. Ms. Leboutier. I would like to start by congratulating all the people that graduated this year at the Martin, the community college, and the University of Moncton recently as well. So good. I wish you a lot of luck in the future for all these young graduates. And with the staff of the city, we're all taking holidays. So take time. It's important to take holidays and to come back with all energized. So I wish you very happy holidays. Thank you. Madame Boudreau, thank you, Your Worship. I want to congratulate all the graduates this year and wish happy holidays to all the youth and school staff and teachers. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brideau. I have nothing for tonight except to wish a happy summer, health, safety, all summer to all the residents of the city of Dieppe. Thank you.
Monsieur Thibodeau. Nothing from me either, Your Worship. Mrs. Turgeon-Roy. Thank you very much. Yes, congratulations to all the graduates, but I would sincerely like to congratulate the city of the staff who put a lot of emphasis on the preparation of these graduates, but also the graduation ball, Monsieur Martin. That was, we all worked hard, and the parents committee, I want to thank and congratulate them. One small thing I want to mention, a new, something new. At the Art and Culture Center, we have Tuta Tukuwete that will bring together all of the arts, the possible arts that are within the walls, visual, theater, poetry, improvisation, design, just to name these ones. And the circus also. It's collected for the youth from 8 to 14 years of age. There's still places left. I just wanted to mention it. You can go on the website of the Arts Center to register your children because it's a good opportunity to to participate in their program. Thank you. That's it for me. Good week.
Merci, Madame Godbout.
It's good book.
Merci, mais je vois mes
Thank you. I
les
join
enfants des
my
anglophones.
to
Moi,
congratulate the
je
graduates
m'engage au secondaire.
at the
Je pense un repos
high
agréable
school
pour
and
lundi.
senior level
Merci.
and a good vacation. We appreciate the work that you're doing. We hope you will take advantage of the vacation. Thank you.
Merci, Monsieur Lantin.
Thank you, Monsieur Latte. Thank you, Worship.
Je me dois aussi de
I
féliciter
must
les
also
participants
congratulate all our graduates
et leur souhaiter bonne
and
chance
to wish
dans
them
toutes les
good
disciplines.
success with things to come.
Juste un point d'information,
Just an
Wednesday,
information point. Wednesday, June the 15th,
deuxième
2 weeks ago,
session
I had the
assisté
opportunity to
à un
finally
comité de gouvernance
attend
sur la gouvernance avec comité de
uh,
transport.
the governance
C'était
committee on the
excellent en
transport
présentiel et en
committee. It
virtuel.
was nice to see the
Selon
people in
l'information
presence and through Zoom. And at the same time, I
pour
was able to go around the building
l'installation et tout
to
ça.
visit the installation. So it's
Et à mon
excellent.
tour, je veux aussi remercier les
And I
employés
want
superviseurs
also
de
want
l'excellent
to
travail et des féliciter
congratulate
ceux
the
qui ont fait
staff.
le
We're
rendu plus
lucky.
facile en
It makes our
transparence
task
et
easy
transparence et tout ça.
for the
Donc, ça
transparency,
mérite
and
certainement
it's
une
certainly
récompense.
worthwhile. Good
Donc,
vacation.
merci
So
beaucoup.
good vacation to
Salut
you
à
also.
tous les participants
Spend
et
a
tout
good
ça.
summer at
Puis
one
à
of the
aujourd'hui.
citizens. That's it for me. Good night, everybody.
Merci.
Thank you.
Moi aussi,
Similarly, I want to
je continuais avec la question des graduations. En
the
fait, c'est
question of graduation on the weekend at the CCNB and NBCC. As much about that is worth mentioning. It was
le 50e
the
graduation.
50th
Ça
graduation.
dit beaucoup de
So it says a
de
lot
notre communauté
about
qui
that community and the
aussi.
advancement of the community.
Et
So,
le CCNB
and the
également,
NBCC
c'est bon de le
also,
souligner, c'est
it's
un
worth
élément
mentioning it.
important de
It's
notre
an important
processus
element of
démographique ici à
our
Dieppe,
demographic growth
d'avoir
in
le
the
CCNB qui est
to
là
have
pour
the
former
NBCC
nos
here.
jeunes
It
et
allows
poursuivre
our
leur
young
formation en
people
français.
to
Euh,
continue their
euh,
growth in French.
mais aussi remercier
But
les
also,
employés, ceux-là
I want to thank our
qui ont
employees,
préparé
those who prepared
l'espace pour ça,
the space for
puis
that
pour ce
and
petit week-end, mais aussi
for the
pour
weekend, but also
une année qui a été
during a
difficile
year
pour tout le
that
monde.
was quite
On a
difficult
toujours,
for everyone.
on regarde toujours le
We
potentiel en
always
décembre, arrivé au mois de
look at the
septembre,
potential of what will happen in
janvier, février,
September. We already hear rumors of COVID
on veut
19.
tout le monde, oui,
We
c'est
hope
facile
that
d'en entendre parler,
no one wants
c'est
to
ça
hear about it, but reality
qu'on
is
est
it's a
tous.
new reality for all of us.
Autrement dit, je
That
remercie
being said, I want
les
to
employés
thank all our employees
pour
for
le
the
travail qui a
work
été fait et
that has
que
been
ça va
done
continuer
and
d'être fait
will continue to
dans
be
les meilleurs
done
intérêts de
in
notre
the best
communauté.
interest of all our
Aussi,
communities.
juste un
On
rappel
that,
également
just a reminder
qu'au mois
for
de juillet,
everyone
seulement
that in
quelques
July
jours,
there will
ça
be
va être
only
sur
one
jusqu'au
meeting
11 juillet,
on
à
July the
partir de
11th
18 heures. Alors,
from
c'est
1800 hours, 6 o'clock.
et
Be
bonne...
there
Oups,
and,
monsieur... Oui, une seconde.
sorry, 30 seconds.
Juste, je veux juste vous informer
I just want to inform you
comme la conseillère
as for
Godbout,
Councillor Goodwood's
on laisse la
question,
priorité sur
the
le
bylaw
règlement
on the
qu'on vient d'adopter.
parking
Oui,
that has just been amended. Yes,
l'immigration
we had communication. I just received word somebody was complaining about the street Jean de Roy. So I can have a follow up at the next meeting with you. I don't think that it's worth coming back on the amendment as such, not as at this time. Thank you. So
Bon été à tout le monde.
good summer, everybody.